The hardest part to starting a business is starting the business.
My great ideas come when I'm about to sleep and I just have to talk about it.
I've got to say, probably the most rewarding thing.
Upcoming flavors, what's the next flavor?
Oh, I guess you'll find it in...
Welcome back to the FEA packing station. This is Alric, the founder of FEA, and this is Ophi, the slave of FEA. No, I'm just kidding.
The slave.
The co-founder, the coffee grabber.
Coffee grandpa.
Today we're going to be packing your orders from the birthday sale because we turned 3 this month. Happy birthday! How do you feel?
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 3 years. It's kind of crazy. Time flies.
So we're just going to be packing some of your orders and answering some questions that I did on the Insta poll. The very first question we got is from Brian. And the question is, what's the difference between version 1 and version 2 protein powder?
Well, I guess it depends on which one. If we're talking about the Thai version 1 and version 2, the main difference is the tea flavor is a lot stronger in the version 2. We increased it by a very significant percentage, and we've swapped the tea out in that to an Assam tea, which means it's a lot more true to the Thai tea flavor that you would find in the shops compared to the version 1, which is probably more akin to the Thai tea powders that you'd find in the packets at the Asian stores. If we're talking about the taro version 1 versus version 2, they are very similar, but version 2 does have just a slightly bit more taro flavoring. We just tried to increase the amount of taro that was in there just to make it a little bit more flavorful.
Yeah, you can't get taro version 1 anymore, but Thai version 1 is still available.
It is very cheap at the moment, so if you are keen for a quick protein hit and a quick protein restock, prices are excellent.
It's a good deal. May I please have the tape, sir?
What tape?
Thank you very much. Next question. Any words of advice for people starting their own businesses?
The hardest part to starting a business is starting the business. Legitimately, actually, most people find it very difficult to start because it's a very daunting task. There's a lot to do. And it's true. You know, there really is a lot to do, and there is a lot to a business. It's quite scary. And depending on the idea that you have, you might find that you need a lot of capital. If it's a business that's centered around products, that is, even if it's a service, I'd recommend a book called Will It Fly by Patrick Flynn. Basically testing if the concept that you've got in the shape of a paper airplane, whether or not it will fly. It's the one that I use basically to start this up, and it's very, very useful.
If you start a business, it's something that you care about a lot. If your heart's not in it, then you're not going to be able to see it grow in an authentic way. So if you're going to start something, it has to be something you really truly care about and you're passionate about, and you would be willing to do even if no one paid you for it. I think that's the important thing.
Like now, you know?
Yes, because you need to love it enough to be willing to put in those hours and not expect anything in return.
Because the reality is, when you first start a business, all of the profits that you get will basically be going into reinvesting in the business, especially if you're bootstrapping it like we have.
It's also like a bonus if you care about it a lot, and it's a really useful. You'll hear a lot of advice about people saying that you need to solve a particular problem. So your product or service should be a solution to a problem. Identifying a problem, a need to solve this problem is going to help, but like that's a bonus to being passionate about it.
What's the next question, Ophi?
Hold on, let me grab 4 marches. Tell the fam how much taro is left.
As of this morning, there was less than a couple of boxes. In the 1 kilo range, that is. So if you're looking at that size, it'll probably be gone by the end of the sale. Also, durian. We're down to our last 3 boxes of that. So if you're a durian fan, make sure you get in on that, because that won't be coming back.
Next question is, what is the future dreams of FEA? PS, hella proud of you guys. Thanks, Sean!
Honestly, we wanted to be able to expand really quickly initially, and I think when we first started out in 2020, we did. Didn't quite get there because of some issues we didn't really have control over, but we do have control over those things now. So I guess the next thing for us is we are definitely looking to expand into a warehouse space, which will allow us to stock more stock, get us into more different channels, like retail channels, being more widely available, trying to get into a few more accessible places, and expanding our product line into something that's more than just protein, something that we've been working on for a while. In terms of not just whey protein, we've got a few special things lined up. That all kind of requires us to have a lot more space space to kind of work out of, because at the moment it is quite limiting to have to rotate the space that you're using every day with every different aspect of the business. The plan was we were going to wait for the new space to come through, which has taken a bit longer than anticipated, before we started with our next order, because we're going to increase the volume of it pretty significantly, and that would have required more space, more product, more space. But that didn't happen, so here we are.
Kind of like one of those things where you feel very naive for expecting things to go as planned, but then the things do not ever go as planned ever.
But as our good friend Alan would say, nothing ever goes to plan.
It's very true.
You can plan for plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and you probably end up with plan F.
Next question. Actually, we had quite a few questions about this. Upcoming flavors. What's the next flavor?
Oh, I guess you'll find out in maybe next week.
Look, let's just say you're gonna find out very soon. The clue is that it's fruity.
Yeah, it's fruity.
And then on a similar note, we also had a question about coffee. Like, what do you think of a coffee flavor?
Oh, we've been planning one for a very long time, actually. It's not quite the right time to release it yet, but it's about 90% of the way there in R&D. Just finishing touches, and then it should be in our schedule for, who knows, maybe later this year.
By the way, R&D stands for research and development, which is basically what we refer to when we're talking about developing new flavors, new products, that kind of stuff. We also have a question. This is a really cute question. What's your favorite part of the journey so far?
I think probably customers' reactions and having people actually enjoy the products that you make. It just means you kind of nailed it in terms of what you're trying to produce, and it's that I've got to say, probably the most rewarding thing.
That's a really good answer.
That and customer feedback, like whether it's good or bad, the fact that you're giving us feedback is awesome. We can always improve, and that's one of the things that FEA does stand for in terms of the alchemy side of things, always striving for perfection. So if you have any feedback, please leave us a review. Please send us some comments, send us an email, send us a message. We're always happy to hear it and always happy to action it.
Because of customer feedback that we were able to improve a lot of our flavors.
Yeah, for example, Thai and Taro version 2s were done because initially we had some people saying, hey, I'd like to see the tea flavor a little bit stronger. I'd like to see the Taro flavor a little bit stronger. And yeah, we were able to implement that in a version 2. So keep it coming.
If I have to say a favorite part, that's not customer feedback. I don't know whether this is considered like selfish, but my favorite part of the journey, I guess, has been the way that FEA constantly challenges me to be better. I feel like I like to challenge myself, but it's always uncomfortable to get outside of your comfort zone. And I feel like there are so many things within FEA that make me do that just because it's sort of the nature. Yeah, it's required. And this is what happens when you're a small business. You sort of just have to take everything on and give everything a go. And I don't really feel like I grew up that way. Like any challenges or risks that I take now as an adult, I feel very uncomfortable with. I almost always feel really good after, and I feel like FEA gives me a reason to challenge myself is probably the better way to say it.
Yeah, starting a business is probably one of the more challenging things you can do in life. There's so many aspects to it, so many hats you have to wear. Like quite literally, you have to put out fires in every single part of the business all the time.
Here's a question. Who's in charge of what?
You can answer that question.
Me? I can talk about maybe the stuff that I do, but maybe you should talk about the things you do. Camera doesn't really see you very much.
It's all the operational behind the scenes stuff.
Operational behind the scenes stuff, wow. So that's basically everything, which is, he's not wrong. He's really not wrong. Like I personally want to say Arik does all the hard stuff. And a lot of the numbers, a lot of the important...
Oh man, I hate doing numbers. I thought I used to like it, but you just do them so much that you end up hating them.
Wait, you have a double degree in law and business and you ended up being an auditor. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That was an era of Arik's life. What did you do after you graduated?
I did audit for a year and a half, and I did some property advice for a little bit, and I currently work as a product manager as well.
In terms of what I'm in charge of, I deal with all the social media.
All of the social media.
Partnerships, pretty things.
Pretty things.
I'm also a really good hacker.
Yeah, that's true. We all make mistakes. There was a period of time when we both made a fair few mistakes, which is why I now tick everything off as we go.
It's so funny because sometimes we get the customer to send a photo of their packing slip and we can see, like, we can tell who packed it depending on the ticks. Everything on the packing slip is ticked, but the order was still wrong.
Late nights. It's no excuse.
I feel like we are so much better now though.
Yeah, we're definitely much better.
Here's a question I have for you. Is there anyone else you'd rather do this with?
No.
Good answer. Do you think it's hard running a business with me?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think it could be hard for couples?
Yeah, definitely. It's boundaries and communication.
Do you think we're good at communication?
I think we're pretty good. We've definitely had our moments. The main thing there is boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, one person might not be into it for that day.
Actually, it's so funny. I feel like we set a boundary of not talking about FEA when we're about to go to bed, but I break that rule so much.
It's funny because you wanted that in place like originally, but you're the one who breaks it more than I do.
But then like all of my great ideas come when I'm about to sleep and I just have to talk about it.
Yeah, my great ideas come when I'm in the shower. So what would you be most keen to see, Ophi?
Oh, keen to see an FEA?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such an exciting question. Right now, because my mind is primed for a warehouse, I know that's not really like the innovative blue sky answer you were thinking, but warehouse. And then I really want...
You're gonna have to blur that out.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We're not talking about that anymore here.
What about you?
Well, there's that too. I guess there's not much we can say here. That's too secret. But I guess you're right. Warehouse is great to look forward to. Having our own space, having more products, being more widely available, attending events. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Being at events or like expos or like markets or functions, just sort of, yeah, that'd be cool.
You get to meet everyone, you know?
Yeah. That's the sort of like immediate feedback that you can get because you can offer tastings and then see immediately what people think. Whereas currently that's not the case. We have to wait a long time and if any, because like 2% of people who buy actually leave a review. What has been your least favorite part of the journey so far?
Oh my God, dealing with unreliable and shady people in the business. So much so that they set you back 1.5 to 2 years and then it is what it is. We move on. Yeah, I'm missing a brown sugar.
I gave you brown sugar.
No, you didn't. Oh, you did.
You gaslit me. Why did that sound like someone was tapping?
What was that? Oh, babe, it's here. I don't know. Something like on the table.
Just want to say a big thank you to everyone for your amazing support.
Thank you so much for all of your support. From the very start, we would not be here without you.
We love you from the bottom of our bobas.
Hey.
Put that on top in case it blows away. Whoa!
I put it on top in case it blows away.
Such velocity.